tonsils are the size of footballs.
Poor G, she always had, well, not always, but you do have a problem with your tonsils.
I'm dispositioned to tonsillitis.
Predisposed. Sorry, do you not think this feels so much more serious?
I feel very weird in here. We're in a different room, guys, and it's much smaller.
I feel like I'm doing like a gig.
It feels very intimate. Like Rahana's no closer to us, but I just feel like we're very...
I agree.
I feel like you're closer to me even.
I feel like this is like, you know, when like celebs go on, like they're on like a stage and they're being interviewed by someone and there are like 3,000 people out there.
Yeah, almost like, you know, on a book tour.
Yeah.
Like you've written a book and I'm doing the kind of like interview for it.
My mum the other day was like, and I literally, sorry, and I was mid-conversation about how busy we are, like how no one's got any time to breathe, blah, blah, blah. She was like, have you two ever thought about writing a book? And I was like, oh yes, sorry, let's just find 10 minutes to do that.
Oh, I could find 10 minutes.
And then I was like, what would we write a book about? She was like, what would you write? You could write a book about female friendships. And I was like, yes, it's on the list of things to do before we die.
Oh my God, writing a book is like one of my like top things to do. Like, I can't wait.
Are you planning to do that like tomorrow? No.
Maybe. If I can find the time.
What would your book be called?
What, if I was doing like a fiction?
Yeah.
I would only write fiction obs.
Would you? I would only write like a kind of like a
you would write like Why Sleep?
No, like everything
a bank account
I know
that
about
you pay
love.
into. Oh yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, I guess that's like a funny one, isn't it? Because it's autobiographical, but it is kind of fiction.
But she uses their real names.
No, only the ones that she is allowed to talk about. All the boys are different.
We'd have to do Polly
it's like
Pies
this
and everything.
Podcast are very serious. You've got to change the names. I've just bought a new book actually, and I'm thrilled.
Oh
about
yeah, what is it?
It's called Wellness. It's enormous, which is one of my favourite things. I don't even know who it's by, but basically it was so funny because I like don't really have any strategy for how I pick a new book. Like I don't even really look at like what's charting. I just like the covers and like the stories on the back.
Right.
And I was looking at this table of like the new books, la la, and this girl was next to me and they were talking about this book, Wellness, and she was like, oh, that's the one my granny's reading. And then they just walked off and I thought, I want to read the one the granny's reading. So I just picked up the book.
Babe, you have to read Akatar or Akamar or whatever it's called.
Everyone's talking about this. What is it called, babe?
A
Court
of Thorns or Rose.
Hannah, you must know this. Have you read the whole series or just the first one?
Is it worth it, the hype?
It's really good.
Is it sexy?
Mm-hmm.
What's it about?
It's a bit spicy. It's like
Game of Thrones
Elves.
vibes.
Set in a different world, different time. She goes and looks for something in a different world.
My whole
Wow.
our whole TikTok is just people reading
those
that
books.
book. Yeah. And that girl...
Oh, maybe I should start.
No, I think you would love
enjoy
it.
them.
Did you ever read Game of Thrones?
No, but I did just finish watching Rings of Power.
Was it good?
I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Is it
Also,
really-
that guy you know is sexy.
I know. Well,
How well do you know him?
Not well. I've never met him. I grew up with his wife.
Is his wife young?
No, she's a year older than us. Than me.
He looks older than that. How old is he?
No, he's a couple of years older than her. He's not that
Really?
old.
Oh, I thought he was like late 30s.
Oh, babe.
Guys, I'm talking about Sauron.
Are you talking about
Sauron.
the one with the long blonde hair?
Yeah.
Is it?
The man with many names. Sauron, yeah.
Anyway, this is Leave a Message. Welcome to Leave a Message. This is the podcast for the Gallies by the Gallies. We are kind of your, I don't know, admins on this podcast, I would say. You guys send us your voice notes.
Group chat admins.
Correct, group chat admins.
And we're not very good at admin, but we seem to be keeping up with this.
Something we're learning in our old age is just how bad we are at admin, actually.
Also, we're actually like the face of the admin, but Rahana is the admin. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're like the front facing, client facing.
Correct.
But
Don't they know it?
don't they know it?
One person voice noted in and was like, I was trying to make it short, but I couldn't, so you're gonna have to deal with it, Rob. I was like, I'm not picking your voice note.
Yeah, guys, she dictates the voice notes we use, so she is the boss.
Sorry, we have to talk about the fire alarm.
Oh my God, Rahana, what the hell happened?
Sorry, what happened?
Was it a bomb threat?
Touch and go.
It's something that happens on a like monthly basis. So
Practice.
yeah.
Oh, it looked really serious because everyone had their high vis on. I thought it might be actual drama.
And then also, guys, we went, I can't remember where we were, but G was telling everyone about the fire alarm and she was like, we had to leave through the Drake entrance.
Yeah, I thought that was such a good,
and I was
line.
like, babe, it's not the Drake entrance, it's the celebrity entrance. She was like, well, Drake actually used it.
And I know that it was Drake.
I
love
actually
Drake.
I was going to say I'm not bothered about Drake. How funny. I wouldn't pay to see Drake.
But you love Chris Martin. It doesn't make
Turn
sense.
the O2 into the O3. That's about the only Drake lyric I know.
I only love my bed, I'm my mama, I'm sorry. That's got to be the best
Okay, yeah.
bit of lyric I've ever heard.
Anyway, this week the Gallies are called
Drake.
Drake. Drizzy Drake. Go.
Drizzy Drake.
Hey guys, can you just chat about struggling with like bad body image and how to get through it? I know it's not a story, but it is a struggle. Yeah. Anyways, thank you. Love you both so much.
Oh, sorry.
Now that's the kind of length Rihanna likes.
Sorry. I didn't even open my fucking pen lid.
That's Rihanna. That's producer Rihanna length. That is efficient, babe. Get to it.
Okay, we've never had this before on the pod, so I feel like this is a good one.
A really good one, because I feel like it's something that, I don't know if it is something that everyone struggles with, actually. It's very timely for me, girls, because I've been in the pits of it recently. Like, my body image hasn't been this bad since I was like at uni, maybe. I feel like I've had like a few good years of like feeling okay. I went through a few wobbles. Like, I feel like going through a breakup always makes you feel a bit like shaky. But I've been so bad recently, and I don't think there's any like rhyme or reason to it, apart from maybe being injured.
I think it was because you were injured and you felt like you weren't like moving as much or like as freely as you'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, I also stopped teaching and put on weight. So I think that can often like make you focus on your body more than you do when you're just sitting like at your like happy, healthy weight. Do you know what I mean?
Also, babe, you ran a marathon, half marathon.
Yeah.
Like you were training a lot for that.
Yeah.
And then like you injured yourself and you just like weren't doing those things.
Yeah, so I guess there were like catalysts as to why, like, when your reflection changes in the mirror, it's hard, I think, not to have a little re-collaboration of how you're like seeing yourself and how you feel in your body. I feel like that does happen.
100%.
Clothes get tighter, and sometimes that can make your head spiral. And what I'm being really conscious on at the moment is never ever going back to a place where that is like limiting to me, because I've been there, and I think that's a really horrible place to be in, like where you're limited by the way that you see yourself. Because the reality is, when you zoom out, nobody looks at you like you look at you. Nobody cares, really. Like, nobody notices the subtle differences like you do.
Like that your jeans feel a bit tighter today than no one notices.
Nobody notices. Nobody's like judging the bits of yourself that you would really hone in on. Like, my insecurities will not be Al's insecurities. They're for what she looks at in me.
Like, even
won't
you
be what I worry
like,
about.
That you've put on a bit of weight. I just like, I haven't obviously I haven't, because I don't analyse you every single day. And when you say that, I'm like, oh really, where?
Yeah.
But to her, obviously, like, and it is real.
When you're looking at it every day, or when you're like
looking for it.
Yes, and you're fixating on it, because that's what starts to happen, and that's what I'm trying to get away from. Because for a while, like especially when I was in uni, it was like all I thought about was like restrictive eating, binge eating cycles, like how to be smaller. And I just feel like that's a place that I don't want to fucking go back to ever. So if the question is, how do you cope with it when you're in bad body image? I would say, what have I done this time round that's really helped? I think I've acknowledged it. Sometimes I try and like go like, no, I don't feel like that. I'm so body confident, la la la. When actually it's like, that's not the reality. I do feel different. And I think acknowledging that is like, acknowledging it is the first step. That's what they always say, isn't it?
Acceptance is the first step of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Exactly. Of Body Image Anonymous.
Yeah.
Because it is. Like, it's okay to feel a little bit out of whack in yourself for whatever reason. Like, it's okay to not feel like Lizzo levels of confidence every fucking day.
And like, I think as well, and I'm not even just talking about me, I'm talking about like smaller people in general. I think people like might look at me, for example, and think, how could she ever have a bad body image day? When, like, as G says, what's real to you is not real to other people. Mm-hmm. And like, just because I have it about my skin and I have it about my bloating, and like being conscious of that in other people, to be like, to not, because I think if you're someone who does struggle with it every day, to then look at people and glorify like skinnier people and think, oh, they're so lucky they never struggle with that, when it's like, well, maybe they, I don't know, aren't having a period or whatever it might be. Like, they might be struggling in different ways, they're just not so visible to you.
100%. And like, it all comes back to like healthy looking different for everyone, and like us kind of detaching what we think about ourselves and how we feel in our our bodies from what society tells us is the standardized beauty. And I think that's really important to get down to. Like, do you feel uncomfortable, or do you think you should look a different way based on what someone's told you is attractive? Because those are two really different things. And it's such a funny thing, because comparison as well is really like, it is the thief of joy, especially in like when it comes to bodies. Like, I said this to Al the other day. I was like, I really struggle sometimes to put that on you. Sorry.
Oh, that's just her tonsils.
That's just my tonsils coming up and out of my mouth. They're so big. To like have those conversations with you in those moments, because sometimes it can stem directly from comparison. That's not Al's fault. That's me and my own like coping mechanisms. But that's like, actually in kind of quietening that discussion, then it becomes something even bigger in your head. I actually think it's really nice to talk about when you're like, I feel a bit off today, and it not needing to be something that's like a solution needed via like skip a meal. Do you know what I mean? Like, it can be something that's like, that's okay, babe. That's just how you feel today. Same as when you feel really good in an outfit you've put on. Epic, great. What do I do that's practical? What do you do when you feel like a bit funky? Dressed to a feeling.
I was going to say, my first thing, and this is why I wear leggings all the time, because when I'm really bloated, my actual idea of hell is jeans.
Yes.
So I've just made sure, like, this sounds really stupid, but I've got leggings that I could wear with a blazer and they would look as smart, so that if I'm having bloat, I can put them on and I can go to a meeting, or I can go to a recorder, or I can go to filming, and I'm not, even if I'm thinking about it, I'm not fixating on the fact that other people might see that I'm bloated.
Yeah.
I've got a legging and a baggy t-shirt and a blazer,
Well,
and
and
that's
you
like
feel comfortable.
Correct.
Number one. And number two, it's like a safety blanket. It's like, sadly, in the modern world, we must wear clothes. I don't know why it's so sad, but we do. So therefore, having that like safety outfit that I know fits me when I'm like, you know, feeling like I need room to breathe, I have it, and
That's
it
what
does
we were
help.
talking about the other day about like Holly was saying this about have 3 pairs of jeans that fit you, and like we talk about this all the time about like in your fluctuation, have a pair that fit you. I even have this on my period. Sometimes I'll put a pair of jeans on.
It can happen within a week.
And like I'll put a pair of jeans on, and like if it doesn't fit, you can spiral and think, oh my god, I put so much. Oh my god.
And it's not that. It's not. It doesn't need to be that always. Like sometimes it can just be like. Sometimes it can genuinely be. Do you think something actually changes from Monday to Tuesday? Probably not.
Always say
it's your feeling,
guys. You can have a shit and lose 5 kilos.
I tried on these jeans on Saturday night, and I honestly was like, I will never leave the house again because these jeans feel so. I'm now wearing them on a Wednesday afternoon. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not always real.
Yeah, let's not forget water weight as well.
Do
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like all of it.
Guys, I even have this. I have this with.
Can't get on a plane
with soy sauce. If I go and have sushi, I literally in the face the day after I look like I've put on a couple of kilos. It's just fucking soy sauce. Do you know what I mean?
No
like,
biggie.
Is it the salt?
Yeah. But like you can't, like if you live your life fixating on the way that you wake up and look, and the way that every single day, God, you'd have no room for anything else in life.
That's one thing I do. I do like, okay, so what I do is avoid body checking in the mirror, because it's not helpful. That's like when you're not just looking at yourself, but you're looking at yourself. You're looking at the bloat. You're seeing the angle where it's coming out. You're looking at the difference in your thighs. You're looking at.
I really.
You don't want to be body checking. It's bad boots. But what I do in return is I don't let my body repulse me. So like, one thing I always stop doing when I'm having bad body image is moisturising. And Hol's taught me this because, like, you know, like we talk about it all the time because we live together, and like, you know, you can't avoid when you feel that way about your own body. And she always says, like, moisturising, it sounds so stupid, but it's forcing you to touch every area, every surface area of your body, and to do it with love and kind thoughts. That is such a small act of kindness that you could do every morning that is like, I love you, this size and the next size. And like you force yourself to touch, because even if you can't look, I think it's really important to know that this is like, sounds so wanky, but this is like your home, and it's the only one you get in this lifetime. So we best be nice to it.
Also things like, like G said this the other day, like unfollowing things on social media that are really contributing to comparison. That's an easy fix.
I honestly was so close to getting a BBL the other day. I thought, that's it. I'm signing up.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm just going to do the plastic surgery route. Fuck self-confidence. I'm just going to buy it.
I even have that, like, I'm not the strongest. And like, I have it in the gym and I look around and I'm like, shit, I can't do that. I can't lift that. All of that. Why looking? Don't look.
Why comparing?
Why are you comparing?
You are beautiful in your body when you feel good in your body. So it's like, what can you do to feel good? Because actually, like, confidence is the sexiest thing you can wear.
100%.
And that is the God's honest.
And I think also, like, this is a wanky and irritating thing to say, because if you're younger than us, it feels like, oh, when will I know all these things? But like, sometimes looking back in hindsight and feeling like I really loved myself that day when I couldn't even look. Like, I used to have this with my skin all the time, choosing to love myself on that day and like not cake my fucking skin in concealer so my skin could breathe, or because I didn't need to leave the house, was like in the moment painful. But now I actually feel so proud that I did that. And like, it's like a muscle. If you do it once, you can do it again, you can do it again, you can do it again.
Yeah. Also, you best believe that it doesn't always correlate to happiness. Like, you might look at pictures of yourself when your skin was 10 out of 10 and it might have been a fucking bad day. Or I might look at my pictures of myself post breakup or post, like, you know, starving myself for a few weeks at uni so that I could like feel skinnier, and I was not happy in that time. What does that tell you? Like, it's nothing to do with like how you look externally to how you feel inside. It doesn't always correlate.
And also try and think of like future you. I had this, I will never forget, I had this one day where I was on the most intense acid, and I'm not joking, my whole face was peeling like a lizard. It was so bad. And I had to go to this junket, and I literally was stood in the mirror sobbing, like genuinely sobbing. And I was about to call and be like, I can't do this. And I just had this like moment of clarity that was like, imagine in a year you look back and the reason you didn't do something you've worked so fucking hard for was because your skin was flaking. It's not a good enough reason.
It's not a good enough reason.
So if you can try and zoom out. Zoom out, that's the answer, actually.
That actually is. Sorry, we've got a roundabout way to get to the answer. That is zoom out. That problem feels so big when you're in it, and I'm not telling you it's not because it's heavy.
Because it is, and it's your reality.
Exactly. But if you can give yourself one thing, it is perspective, and that is by zooming out. Sorry you're feeling that way, babe, but you're beautiful, and I'm sure you're going to be okay.
Love you.
Love you, Drake. Before we continue with this week's episode of Leave a Message,
if you want to be part of our group chat, make sure you leave us a voice note using all the details in the episode description.
Now, this can be about anything. Obviously, sometimes we ask you for specific topics, but if you've got a story that you think girls need to hear this, then get voice noting.
Drake number 2.
Hey Gallies, how are you both? Absolutely adore you guys and love the pod. And I was just after a little bit of advice. So a bit of context, I work at a rugby club, which all of my friends absolutely love, and quite often they will come to the club. Around 2 years ago on a Christmas night out, my friend came with me and really hit it off with one of the lads who doesn't play anymore, but occasionally still comes to watch and support. I warned her at the time that he had a pregnant girlfriend and, you know, should stay away. However, they were so close all night and dancing on each other, heads in necks, you get the picture. Nothing actually happened other than him saying, if I didn't have a pregnant missus at home, I'd be coming home with you tonight, which quite frankly makes me want to vom. Like, what a fucking twat. Anyway, fast forward 2 years, no more contact, nothing else happens. Baby's born. The mum and dad both seem very happy together until my friend gets a follow request on Instagram and a friend request on Facebook, literally within minutes of each other. Now, she's a teacher, so she's not the easiest person to find on social media. So, you know, like he's been looking. Anyway, she accepts the follow request, and again, literally within minutes, there's a DM from this boy, and he's starting to try and strike up a conversation and being a bit flirty, etc., etc. I follow both him and his girlfriend, so immediately I obviously start digging to see if they're still together, and see that they are both still on each other's Instagram feeds. They've been on holiday recently, like literally within the last month. It does look like they're still together. Like, if you didn't know this and you went on their Instagram, you'd think, oh, he has a girlfriend. Oh, she has a boyfriend. Anyway, I tell her to ask him about the girlfriend and the baby. And his reply is, if I had a girlfriend, do you really think I'd be messaging you? Which, you know, looking at his past behavior wouldn't really fucking shock me. But what do I do in this situation? I've obviously encouraged her to stay away from him because he just seems like a wanker. But unfortunately, her type does tend to be wankers, so I'm not very hopeful. But I also really don't know what to do about the mother of his baby, because I've only met her a handful of times, but she is such a lovely, lovely, lovely girl. And I just feel really sorry for her in this situation. However, don't make myself look a dick if they have broken up and I'm barging like, do you know what your boyfriend's been doing, blah, blah, blah. Because maybe she doesn't actually care and she's quite happy to be rid of him. But yeah, anyway, I just absolutely love some advice, please. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Love you both. Bye.
Love you, babe.
Love you, Drake.
We're constantly confronted with these moral conundrums.
Can I tell
me.
you, that's the first time that hasn't shocked me, because I just think, ovs.
I just think and listen, hashtag not all rugby men. I've got a lot of them in my life and I've got a lot of love for them. But there's something when you've got a bit of a public profile, you've got your Instagram. It's like, it's nice for you, isn't it, to keep your girlfriend off your tagged and to like be able to use your blue tick to slide into DMs. And I just think like it's a power that can be abused. And what he's done there is he's abused his position of power. He's been able to find her. He's got clout. He's a rugby player.
Listen, the thing is, when you're young, rich and famous, I use famous fucking loosely.
Sorry, babe. Some of them. Okay, so Rach listens to this and her husband is a rugby player, right? Pez, he used to play for Worcester. He would fully have like super fans. Luckily for Rach, they were middle-aged women largely. But like they would like send him birthday presents on his birthday, babe. Like rugby players, if you're into rugby, it is football. Do you know what I mean? Like they love them. They love them.
Okay, young, rich and famous.
Yeah, famous.
You are under the false illusion that you can have it all. And
cake and eat it.
But like,
it's a case of the cake and eat it.
Because he genuinely doesn't think he's going to get found out. He's so cocky. They are so like they're so assured of themselves.
Is that not hashtag all men? Like, where do you think that girls don't talk?
Because I think some men
are a bit like good at it.
Well, also, I think some men kind of cheat to get found out because they're too cowardly to face the truth.
Fair, yeah.
Whereas in this instance, I don't think he is. I mean, like the fact that like
he fancies her clearly, and his girlie's become a bit boring maybe since she became a mama.
The girl has to tell the wife. Sorry to say.
I agree. I think especially if you've met her. And there's a baby involved. I think even if you approach it by just being like...
This is like Lauren Goodman and Carl Walker.
Yeah,
and
very similar.
Situation. And like, obviously Annie Walker only found out because like Carl is so famous and it all came out in the press.
You can't hide anywhere.
You would hope that one of Lauren's friends... I mean, I don't know, maybe not, had been like, by the way, she's pregnant with another baby.
I just think it's wild. Like, I just think if you've been like privy to that kind of behaviour, I think it is, especially if you know the baby mama, I think it is like well within your right to go to her.
It's not within your right, it's your duty of care.
I think it might be your duty
female
of care
race.
To say, babe, one of my friends, Slaggy Lindsay, can't get enough of your boyfriend, so you might want to have a word with him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Slaggy Lindsay.
No, but actually, it's not Slaggy Lindsay. It's Slaggy boyfriend.
Slaggy, sure, he's the one with something to lose, but she does know he's got a girlfriend and a baby.
What has she said?
Well, apparently you can see it all over Instagram. So it's like you're choosing to ignore that. Sorry, hun. Lots of love to you.
Okay,
and, like, we've all
Slaggy
got to get
Lindsay,
laid.
Let that stand. Slaggy Lindsay. Put that back into the record.
I think it stands. Can I just say one thing to Slaggy Lindsay? That she said, the Drake 2 said that Slaggy Lindsay likes wankers. And I was thinking about this recently and I was speaking to my friend Lou about it, just about how like I've noticed how when I like date and they're a bit of a wanker, something happens in me that creates like energy because I'm on my toes. I'm trying to impress them. I don't know whether they're hitting me from left or right or whether we're going to shag or whether he's going to never call me again. Like I don't know which one it is, and that creates an energy. I've mistaken that for excitement, right? For excitement and for lust and for, you know, whatever. We all know that turns into a toxic situationship, relationship, whatever. And what I've really noticed recently in dates that I've been on is that a calm nervous system is not to be taken for granted.
And is not to be mistaken for lack of spark.
Thank you.
I'm
27 years young and I've realised that.
I was talking about this, about, I don't know what you were doing, fanning around or something.
Sure.
But because
you're allowed to hang out alone
No,
now. You know,
because-
when you've got those friends and you're like, I'll go and cross-pollinate if you must.
and she would be the first to say this. She's attracted to toxic men.
Sure, love them.
And I was saying, like, listen, okay, I want to just preface this by saying I love Raw for like till the day he takes his last breath.
Me too.
And like he is so.
He is the wind beneath your sails.
And he is so good.
Do you want to tell the good people what you said the other day?
What did she say?
When that made you feel sick? That you said?
What did I say?
That you had to go home and shower it off?
No, I can't say that. No, I definitely can't. Guys, I was at the...
It wasn't even that crazy.
We were talking about this. This is what we're talking
about, yeah.
Of me being like, I know that if I was single now, of course I'd go for the toxic men because it is, as you say, exciting.
Something's
you
happening.
feel butterflies, but the thing that you need in life is a secure and stable government. That's what you need, and that is what Raw is. And I won't repeat what I said the other day because I had to. And I said to them, I said it, and as soon as I said it, I was like, guys, I'm actually going to go home and think about how fucking embarrassing that is. And
It wasn't embarrassing, it was really sweet.
And then I text her later being like, babe, I literally can't stop thinking about
and
the
she
fact
said she had to stand in the shower to like wash it off. I was like, babe, you just basically said you love him. Relax. We all know you're not like the actual ice queen. Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on that because I've had that realization epiphany like recently from like...
No, but it takes a hot minute.
Yeah, and like...
Well, also, some people don't ever get to the realisation. They just spend their whole life chasing the, like,
or
butterflies.
you realise it, but you don't act on it. Like, I do think that's something, like, or you chase the adrenaline. Growing up, growth.
It's called growth.
Hashtag growth. I think I've grown.
Richard, I want, like, the sparkle emojis.
Growth. Yeah, because I just think, like, wow, like, so many of my past relationships have been based on this, like, energy that I thought was passion, and it was fucking fear, I think, or like fighting for my life. Yes, Rahana, please.
Is this based on a recent date?
Yeah, I did have the epiphany after a recent date.
Wow, interesting. What did you do?
Rahana's still yet to learn the lesson. That's why she's asking questions.
I'm still abusing myself on a regular basis.
You're self-harming, babe. It's okay. We've all done it.
Yeah.
What happened? I went on a date with someone that actually could have been my friend, and I still wanted to shag
That's
him.
a really perfect way of saying it.
Yeah, like
That
I
is
felt like I was
such a-
having drinks with a
Very
friend.
good.
I didn't feel like I had to be performative.
Oh,
I didn't feel like
babe,
I had
that's
to like
you-
show up in a certain way. I didn't have to question his feelings or emotions. And I still, at the end of the day, wanted to fuck him. That's crazy to me because that's not the relationships I've been in. From my past relationships,
Babe, I'm so proud of you. 'Cause
they
that
wouldn't
is
be at my
actually-
birthday party, let me tell you, because we're not mates. That's crazy. And I've just realised.
I'm really proud of you.
Also, there's knowing it and then there's knowing it. There's
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you also always think, like, I can never fancy that guy. That's my default.
This is why I always say be friends first. I don't know why everyone's got this twisted idea that if we're friends, that was never going to work.
Twisted.
It is, because everyone's like, oh, no, but if you're friends, then you'll never... I actually really, really take issue with that, because the whole... If you're going to, like, live and die with someone, what, you think you're shagging at 95? Absolutely not. They're your companion.
What do you want from them other than, like, a real, like, friendship and a kind of, like,
Companion.
alignment and
Yeah. There was that thing
comradeship.
that was like, you will eat 160,000
I
meals,
know.
and like if you cannot find things to fill your time with together that you both enjoy, or like that you can like grow in parallel together, what is the fucking point? You can you have sex
but
once or
there
twice
is
a day,
this
and that's
thing
it.
of like there is a reason why friends are friends, and it's just trying to understand how you bridge the gap.
There has to be a
between
little
friends
something,
to lovers.
totally.
And I think that's why I actually had the realization, like in my soul, because I was like, oh, I also like will sit on his face. Do you know what I mean? So I think it was just that.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, I can also fancy him.
this is it. Yeah,
Good.
really good. Drake number 3.
Hi guys, I'm a young listener here. I honestly love the podcast. I love your YouTube videos. I can honestly binge watch them for a whole week. I've got a dilemma here, and honestly, I need a bit of advice. I recently started college. I'm like 3 weeks in. So I've got a friend, let's call her Amy. And me, Amy, and another girl, we've honestly been like good friends since year 7, like from year 7 to year 11, and still at college. Like we haven't had any major arguments. However, Amy took politics A-level, which is completely fine. I'm all for it. However, it does mean her political views are starting to become more apparent to me. And it's completely fine to have different opinions and different views on things. Like, especially if you're friends, like it's not that deep. However, there are some things that she would say in secondary school that I would brush off, but now it makes so much like sense. Now I'm starting to put 2 and 2 together, and I'm starting to figure out that actually maybe her views have been a bit iffy from the start. And also, like, I am a person of colour, so having like views that are dodgy, like it does bring up a lot of questions. So anyways, like my whole kind of dilemma is like, what do I do? Because I'm pretty sure her views are just things that I don't want to align myself with. And I just would never, because they're just things that I'm just like, what are you talking about? You know? Or like, what are you on about? Why did you say that type of thing? And it's not like all the time, but it will happen often or sometimes where I'm like, hold on, that was weird. Why did you say that? Anyways, I'm not really sure what to do about it because the friendship is comfortable, which is why I kind of stayed in it. However, like, it's just getting a bit worse, especially as she took politics. So I'm like, I don't really want to align myself with somebody like that. I love you guys so much.
Babe, I did politics A-level. It's a dangerous place to be. I have to agree.
Well, because also they kind of like rile you up a bit, don't they? Like
They actually don't. Sorry, I just want to preface this by saying no defamation to Edexcel.
A-level politics doesn't make you a racist.
It's
You either are or you're not.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't teach you the fucking like Black Lives Matters movement. They teach you like the structure of parliament and government. It's nothing, you know, too crazy.
So what you take from that structure is what you take from that structure as an individual.
I have many thoughts on this.
Go for it, baby.
Because
I did politics.
no, well, because I used to live with a girl who was actually Raw's friend. None of us are friends with her anymore. And she had almost the other way. She was like too woke for her own good, but she came from money. And she like, you know, benefited off the fact that like her parents helped her and everything, but she would like fully stand there and lecture us about like full socialism and stuff.
But she was coming from a real place of privilege.
And like, I have no issue with that. But then she would like, she would go and, I don't know, spend loads of money on shit that was stupid and that like socialists wouldn't spend money on. And like,
live and die by the sword, babe. You can't be vegan wearing a leather coat.
Do you know what I mean? And like, I don't have an issue with you being a socialist, but if you
I could be friends with a socialist if pushed.
If you had a gun to my head, sure.
Yeah. Well, I wrote this down actually, and I think this is what you're getting to is,
if you
can you have
about
healthy debate? Because I think there's different...
Healthy debate is not racism. That's where like, I would draw the line.
Well, this is the thing, like how I don't know the details of this girl's kind of political standing.
Babe, in the future, we need specifics.
I'm guessing she didn't want to repeat, maybe they were that bad. I don't know. But like, she has those viewpoints for a reason. So if you can understand her reasoning, friendship can be had. If you can't, I don't know, there's much of a friendship there.
I agree.
If you don't understand her reasoning for arriving at certain points.
Well, also some of the reasoning, like if they are racist views, like then they're wrong. Anyway, whatever her reasoning in does not stand up in court. So like, even if you understand it, can you really like fuck with it? Probably not.
Especially when it like directly impacts you.
I mean, my flat answer would be no, you can't be friends, because how are you to sit there? And also like, it is that thing of like, I can't actually forget what you said. There's one thing to like brush over it, but like, I will never forget that you said that whatever racist thing or whatever it is.
100%.
And still pretend to be your friend.
Me and Holes have this line that my ex-boyfriend said, and I won't repeat it, but we still say it to each other. We've kind of turned it into a joke now, but at the time of him saying it, it was honestly one of the most shocking things that I've ever heard anyone say about gender politics. And I think from that moment, I realised that like...
You saw him in a different light.
100%. I never saw him the same, and would I want him to be the father of my girls? No.
No.
So I think if there's a similar line of thinking to do with, you know, race.
Actually, go on.
Or classism.
Or classism, then that's going to sit on you heavy. And can you be friends with them? I don't know. And that kind of does show how friendship grows, doesn't it? In school, that shit might not matter. And yeah, those little comments might go over your head. Or you might be
willing to push it away because you don't have an alternative option.
And also, she can't fucking vote. Now she fucking can.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, your words have agency now.
Even this is a thing, like, I don't know, there were some reformers on my Instagram this election. And I was like, unfriend. Immediately.
Did you unfriend?
I can't look at that.
Oh, so wild when they say it with their chest, isn't it?
On that, like so openly. I'm like, I just find it interesting because I'm like, okay, if I look at you as a viewer that is not someone I actually know,
then everyone's entitled to their political opinions,
correct,
and their vote.
But I don't agree with you, and I definitely don't need it on my fucking friend stories.
Fucking feed my For You page.
I don't need it on my For You.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Like, goodbye. Exit the chat.
And also you would then feel like you couldn't maybe like voice certain things that you felt really passionate about. Like if there was like things that she'd said that directly impact you, how would you then have an open line of conversation to say like, when you say that, I feel offended because...
No, actually it's really fucked. It really is fucked.
It's fucked. Also, I've really realised I've gotten older. It's very hard to change someone's mind on views like this because it is years and years and years of like...
Well, also, like, you see it with older generations and you just kind of explain it away like, oh, well, they just like, they're of a different generation. But actually, that's not a good excuse anyway.
No.
And then when there's someone that you've grown up with and that you know intimately and they're the same, like, of the same, like, I don't know, category as you, like age and wherever you went to school and then you really do think, oh shit, actually maybe you're just, I don't know, from a different universe. Like,
that's how it feels.
Yeah.
And I think when you are like really attuned to that kind of thing because those comments directly impact you, then you will never not hear them. Like they won't be brushed away. Do you know what I mean? And maybe you can't be friends.
And also think about the fact that if they have those views, it's likely that their family will too. So let's say you've grown up with them and you're close with their family and you get invited to a wedding or something, like that means you're going to have to sit in a room with loads of people who feel the same way. And if you're different to them, then it's likely you're going to feel uncomfortable because you know that they all feel that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just pick your friends wisely.
Do you know what I mean? Like actually genuinely who sits across your table is really fucking important.
Have you ever had that, anyone?
I have a lot of friends from different classes to me and also a lot of different races. And yeah, I've been in rooms where I thought, I know that there's definitely views that are very different to mine. But no one's ever made me feel like massively uncomfortable. But you're just aware of it, and it's whether you want to feel uncomfortable in that space.
Yeah,
forward like that. But then I see a lot of the times people's parents have completely different views to my friends, and it's like, okay, cool, we're cut from the same cloth. Basically.
Exactly,
so
despite your upbringing or despite your parents' views. Because that is possible.
Oh, yeah,
and that does happen. Like, you know, if it's like the generational thing that you were saying. Like, we do excuse a lot from older generations, but we don't. We hold each other in our peer group to higher standards because why wouldn't we?
This segues quite nicely into the question of the week.
Come on. Okay, question of the week. I'm really starting to read the brief. You can see this. Can you be friends with someone that has different...
4 weeks to
Nothing to worry about, Rana. Can you be friends with someone that has different political views to you? Yes, debate is healthy. No, it changes how I feel about someone. Different political views, opinions, same thing.
Well, political, yes.
But this is the thing. What's the umbrella of politics? Because politics is social, gender, economic. Like it tells you so much about a person.
If you're talking about political,
I'm not just saying are you like a Labour or Liberal.
No, because that like. Okay,
your political
are you a hard
views.
left or are you a hard right? That is basically the beat. But I don't think that like.
I guess what the assumption is that your viewpoints on, for example, gender, race, pay gap, whatever it is,
depend on where you sit on that spectrum,
will probably be in line with your political views.
Well, I actually don't agree with that because as in, like, I think that's the perception, but I don't think that is actually the reality of it. Because like, if you're talking about like
everything, obviously, like I'm sure you could vote like, you know. reform.
As in,
and
like,
not.
I'm sure there are like some very like left-wing liberals who are racist.
Yeah.
Or like the other way, like,
Yeah.
or, you know, I don't know, like really like strong reform. Oh, reform is a bad example because their whole fucking thing is built on anti-immigration. But
Not ideal for
there
them
might
and
be
their
like
PR.
some really strong like conservative thinkers, conservative with a small c, who really believe in migration. Like, I don't think that they're all, okay, what I'm saying is I don't think you can generalize so like broadly. If you're talking about political like class system, then yes. But I think if you're talking about like fundamental morals and like differences in like perspective and opinion, then no. That girl is a good example.
Yeah.
We can have different opinions on tax.
Right. Basically, you're saying that no, if those differing political views are on issues that are really important to you. If tax was part of my identity and you really felt differently to that, maybe that doesn't work. Vice versa with, you know, abortion or whatever the political problem is. Girls, I've shagged them, I've been with them. So I think it just makes your life so much harder to be with someone that constantly like disagrees with you, especially on stuff that is important, especially when you're going to start to think about like raising children. And I know we're talking about friendship, but I do believe in healthy debate, don't get me wrong. And I've learned many, many things from people who think differently to me. I've learned more than any book has ever taught me from having conversation with someone that thinks the opposite way than I do. But I feel like if I had a friend that on an issue that I felt really passionately about thought the other way, I might struggle.
Thought the other way and shoved it down your throat. I think there's a difference between thinking...
I guess it comes back to like, can you have healthy debate? Like, can you talk about that in a way that's like really respectful?
Rahana, what do you think?
I have a feeling it's going to be 60-40 in favour of no.
It is 66% in favour of yes. Debate is
can
healthy.
have debate, healthy
you can
debate.
be friends.
Interesting.
No is 34%.
Interesting. That is interesting, actually. God, very serious topics today. Well done, everybody. We've really pulled ourselves out of the fit category on Spotify. Well done, everybody.
Can I just say, I know my tonsils aren't directly linked to my brain, but I feel like I wasn't firing on all cylinders for those heavy topics. But I'll go and read a book and I'll be back next week with my smaller tonsils.
No, babe, I think you did really well. You contributed a lot to to the debate there. Well
I'm
done.
so glad I had a full blackout. I don't know what just happened.
No, that was good.
Debrief?
Debrief!
Okay, I'll be first. Number one was bad body images.
Yeah.
Image.
Yeah. Touch yourself.
Yeah, and zoom out. That's actually those are the two pieces of advice.
Yes.
And maybe do, like, on the days that you hate yourself more, try and do something for yourself that like you like love, like makes you feel loved.
Because also, like, it sounds like we're saying easy fix. It is a daily rewiring. Like, the way I've had to rewire my internal monologue from the age of 14 is wild, and I'm still not there.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of unpicking to do, hun, and it takes a minute, and you've got to do it every day. Number two, Drake. Number two, you've got to tell the wife, the girlfriend, the baby mama, whatever we want to call her. We've got to tell her.
Tell Slaggy Lindsay as well to fucking,
I just think, say Slaggy Lindsay, do you know how many boys there are on a rugby team? Plenty. So go and pick another one that doesn't have a girlfriend. Do you know what I mean?
And a baby.
Sorry, hun, you must take responsibility for that.
Number three,
we don't think you can be friends with this friend, but we think potentially you can be friends with people that have different political views to you.
Well, it depends like how much you're willing to suffer at the hands of her, as Rahana says. Like, if you're willing to put yourself in a situation and feel uncomfortable, that's your decision to do that.
Also, do you feel like you're then having to like constantly fight the cause every day? Like, you don't want that responsibility on your shoulders. It's not your fucking job to like
to educate the uneducated every day of your life. Sorry.
And also, she's saying this shit to you. What the fuck does she say? Like, like white supremacist club. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's fucked. Sorry. But you know what I mean? Like, she's looking at you, a friend she's loved for 7 years, and she's not reading the room on the bits of her politics that might offend you directly. Yeah, the fuck she's saying when she's not with you.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Fuck that.
Thank you so much for listening to Leave a Message. We've been Ali and G.
You won't see us next week because our contract's going to
be cancelled.
Same.
Rahana Rahana's out of a job, so if anyone's got one going, that would be great.
Love you so much.
Love you so much.
Goodbye.
And please, girls, sorry, I hate to be beggy, but please send voice notes because we can't do this pod without you. And
That
Rahana's
might not be a
inbox has been
podcast
low.
to send voice notes into, so I wouldn't bother actually. Love you,
you,
bye.